De haber sabido que. De haber sabido que. Sometimes you will use que, the last word here. Sometimes you don't need it. We'll look at some examples so you can see what I'm saying. And the meaning, and the meaning of this phrase is, if I had known. Okay? Interesting, very interesting. De haber sabido or de haber sabido que. So let's look at the examples to see how to use this phrase. De haber sabido, no hubiera comprado café. This is a more advanced phrase, but we're gonna break this down so you know how it works. Don't worry about that. De haber sabido, no hubiera comprado café. So you can even have a comma there. De haber sabido, no hubiera comprado café. Café, café means coffee. El café, café. Now, let's break this down, or rather, let's look at the translation. We need to know what it means. We absolutely need to know what it means. If I had known, I wouldn't have bought coffee. Maybe, you bought some coffee at a coffee shop, I don't know, for friends, right? And you're taking it to go. And then all of a sudden you see that there's somebody else, or there was someone else buying coffee. So they're already drinking coffee. No one told you that there was going to be coffee already where you were going. That can happen for sure, So let's break this down and let's see how this sentence works. De haber sabido, okay, we have actually the phrase right at the beginning. Usually you will use it at the beginning of your sentence. De haber sabido, and you don't have to conjugate anything, so it's good just to learn the phrase, okay? You don't have to do anything to it. De haber sabido, if I had known, comma can work here too. No hubiera, yo no hubiera, you don't need yo. This means I wouldn't have comprado, bought café. Coffee. It's a more advanced sentence for sure, but it's pretty clear as well. De haber sabido, no hubiera comprado café. If I had known, I wouldn't have bought coffee. No hubiera, yo no hubiera. That means I wouldn't have. Okay? And hubiera, that's interesting because hubiera comes from the verb haber as well. Hubiera, right here. Yo no hubiera, yo hubiera, tú hubieras, él hubiera. So it's all about the conjugation of haber, of course. And it's similar. Haber is very similar to, for example, sorry, I just lost what I wanted to say, what I found. Yo estuve, it's very similar to the verb to have. No hubiera here means I wouldn't have, but you can also say yo hubiera, I would have. Okay, so that's a different thing with haber. it's another use of this verb. It's an auxiliary verb. So yeah, and it means to have. So that's another thing we can talk about in the future. It's a bit more complex, but that's another use of haber. So it's very versatile, that verb. De haber sabido, if I had known, I wouldn't have bought coffee. No hubiera comprado café. De haber sabido, de haber sabido. So that's right there. You can see the phrase, very easy. You don't have to do anything to it. So the next example. De haber sabido que ibas a venir, hubiera hecho comida. De haber sabido que ibas a venir, hubiera hecho comida. So we're talking about food again. I really like food. Okay, so the meaning of this sentence is, if I had known you were coming, I would have made food. So someone just stopped by to say hi, and you don't have any food, you're unprepared, you don't know what to do. Well, I mean, this person can order something, right? Some takeout for sure. But just, yeah, ordering food nowadays is quite easy, I believe. I don't do it often though, but yeah, it's a thing for sure. De haber sabido que ibas a venir, hubiera hecho comida. If I had known you were coming, I would have made food. We have once again the phrase right at the beginning, de haber sabido, but now we are using que. Okay? De haber sabido que. Usually que, in this situation, you're adding more to the sentence. You're not adding, a comma. De haber sabido, comma, that's just, a simple phrase you're using. But also if you want to add more to the sentence, que can be used for that. De haber sabido que, ... What else? Ibas. That's a verb. So de haber sabido que, if I had known que tú ibas. That means you were. A is part of ibas a. So that's a phrase that is used to say, tú ibas a cocinar. You were going to cook. Ibas a venir. We have venir instead of anything else. We have another verb right here, and that means coming. Similar to saying coming, venir means to come. When someone comes to see you, for example, that is a great verb to use for those situations. It means to arrive. It means to come back in some situations. To be from. Vine de Mexico. You can say it's similar to be from, but it's not that similar. Gabriel, for example, I see an example here. Gabriel viene de Mexico. Gabriel is from Mexico. I don't know, that example is a bit odd, but I gotta say, I just have some quick examples here that I Googled, but don't get confused. Venir means to come. El tren viene de Andalucía. The train comes from Andalucía. Okay, so to come or to arrive. That's the main meaning of venir. Coming in the situation. Hubiera. By the way, did you notice that we have hubiera here as well? And we have it here as well. Why? Because this phrase here works, or hubiera works really well with this phrase. Hubiera and de haber sabido. So you are saying, de haber sabido que dot dot dot, that's the sentence, hubiera, you know, it's similar to saying I would have. So you have two parts. De haber sabido que dot dot dot, hubiera dot dot dot. So if I had known dot dot dot, I would have dot dot dot. So that's the similar translation of that formula there. So keep in mind that hubiera is kind of works really well with this sentence, de haber sabido. Hubiera hecho, I would have made comida. Comida, food. Food. La comida, food. Remember that. De haber sabido can work with hubiera. De haber sabido que as well. And de haber sabido and de haber sabido que means if I had known. So just remember that. It's a very common phrase to use in Spanish. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't lie when I tell you that all the things I teach on this channel are very common in Spanish. And I'm trying to simplify it for you. This one is a bit more complex, but just remember, de haber sabido, for example, if, this one right here. You have no, obviously no hubiera, but what I wanted to say is that it's flexible. You can put here que if you want. De haber sabido que, for example, que, but this has to change. Que compraste café, no hubiera traído, no hubiera traído más. That's a simple, I'm trying to simplify it, I don't want to sound repetitive. So let me show you here. It's just a different way to say the same thing. De haber sabido que tú compraste, if I had known you bought coffee, right? No hubiera, I wouldn't have, no hubiera traído, traigo, no traído más, traído más. I wouldn't have bought more, or, you know, traer, or you can be literal, no hubiera comprado. There you go. That's a more literal thing. Traído means just bring, in this situation, coffee, right? I wouldn't have brought some coffee. But if we want to keep it a little bit more literal, it works too in the situation. De haber sabido que compraste café, if I had known that, or you bought coffee, and I think it sounds better if we say more. Yeah, that's a more literal translation in English as well. De haber sabido que compraste, well, I'm translating in English anyways. I don't know what I'm saying, I'm sorry. De haber sabido que compraste café, if I had known that you bought coffee, no hubiera comprado más. I wouldn't have bought more. Okay, so that makes sense, and I'm using que. But you can also say, you know, what we had, de haber sabido. Let me see if I can just, no, I can't. De haber sabido, no hubiera comprado café. I think that's the way I had it. If I had known, comma, I wouldn't have bought coffee. So it's pretty much this. It's up to you what you want to do. You can use que if you want to state that someone did something already and that you didn't have to do that again, you know. Or you can just use the haber sabido, if I had known, comma, and then say the rest like we have it right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make this simple, and I don't know if I'm doing that. I hope I am. De haber sabido que, this is a formula right here. Dot, 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 hubiera, dot, dot, dot. Okay, de haber sabido que, dot, 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 hubiera, dot, dot, dot. If I had known, dot, 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 I would have, dot, dot, dot. That's what I wanted to show you. Okay, so that's the formula right there. That's what it means. That is the formula. So you just have to add things here and here. And it's very similar to saying this right here. Okay, sometimes you need que, sometimes you don't. As I said before, if you don't want to state something at the beginning, you can just use it as a phrase, de haber sabido, comma, and then say the rest. But this one, the second option here, is more, I would say more specific, and you're pretty much saying what happened, right? In a more specific way. So either one works, whichever you want to use.